Hey, what are you up to?
I'm just looking at my GH5 and wondering when the GH6 would come out and what it's gonna upgrade.
Oh, I didn't know a GH6 was announced.
Oh, it wasn't.
So why are you thinking about the GH6?
Well, the GH5 was a revolutionary camera when it came out. I'm only wondering what the GH6 will possibly have that the GH5 didn't have.
Well, I'm just checking. I just heard the GH6 will have 8K video.
8K video?
Yeah, it's going to have incredible resolution.
I guess, but I wasn't hoping for that.
What were you hoping for?
Mikey, how many times have I mentioned my biggest complaint regarding the GH5?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Sure.
So what did I complain about the most?
Oh, you couldn't stand that the GH5 had a limit on the SD card slot speed.
Well, yeah, it was weird that the card slot couldn't record at the higher bit rate on my SD card, yet my 5D could record over 500 megabits per second on the same cards. But no, that's not it.
Oh, of course not. You just don't like the fact that the smaller sensor doesn't absorb as much light as a full-frame sensor.
Well, yeah, but at least only a short time later, Panasonic finally released their full-frame mirrorless cameras. Anyway, no. Come on, you know what it is.
Okay, one last guess. You don't like it because you don't like the menus?
The menus are not that bad. They could be better though, but come on, it's the most obvious thing.
Of course it is. What is it?
The autofocus. Of course.
But don't you use the Metabone Speed Booster? That's why your autofocus is so bad. I heard that on Lumix lenses, the autofocus is not bad at all.
Yeah, I know, but I had a micro four thirds lens, and it was still horrible.
What happened to the lens?
Wow. I paid so much money for it, and it was shattered to pieces when I dropped it. Canon lenses have been rock solid. Anyway, I'm diverging from my point.
What's your point?
The fact that Panasonic still insists on using contrast detect autofocus. No one can rely on it for professional shoots.
Yeah, but
what?
No professional would ever use autofocus.
What about if you're using a gimbal?
That's when pros use a remote focus system hooked up to the lens. It's still possible.
Wouldn't it be easier with autofocus?
No.
Sure.
We'll all right then.
What you don't get is that the GH5 was a dream camera of mine. Before the GH5 came out, I owned 2 Canon full-frame cameras, and none of them can come close to what the GH5 offered in theory. It had 4K 60, it had unlimited recording, it had a log profile, it had 180 frames per second in 1080p, it had waveforms and focus peaking, it had 2 card slots, and IBIS. It had it all.
Except autofocus?
Yeah.
So you want to give up the camera and think that the GH6 with possible 8K video won't be worth it without autofocus?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the colors, the autofocus, and the small sensor size, and terrible low light performance.
So if you have all of those complaints, how was I supposed to guess what you didn't like about the GH5?
Well, fine. Good point.
But all you need is the autofocus improved.
Well, if it's coming with 8K and has dual pixel autofocus, I think the rest can be worked around.
So will you buy it?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I've got the R5.
So why are you even messing with the GH5?
Because the GH5 is still a usable camera. It's the camera that I've used the least, but I also feel like it can probably do more.
Right. Like what?
Like, I can sell it. Get good money for this one. Let me put it right back.
Back to work. Thank you for watching that video. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. A couple of videos that we've got coming up. One of them is how we do these complicated edits for the show. And the second one is testing out C-Log 1 versus C-Log 2 versus C-Log 3 on the Canon R5. But if you want to see more, definitely consider subscribing. You can make our day if you subscribe today. This is Mikey, and I'm out. See you guys later.